Hello everyone, SquaredCircle Wrestling is back with another episode which includes explosive response expected from CM Punk. What's next for AEW Collision now that CM Punk is gone? Jack Perry's status revealed after CM Punk's AEW firing. CM Punk and William Regal had tense altercation in AEW. Update on AEW locker room morale after CM Punk's release. LA Knight makes heartbreaking statement about Bray Wyatt's last WWE match. And much more. You can check the complete list with time chapters in the description box below. Before we start, make sure to subscribe to our channel for all the latest news. Our top story for today looks at explosive response expected from CM Punk. AEW President Tony Khan, ahead of AEW Collision in Chicago, announced that he had decided to terminate CM Punk's contract with the company. The announcement came in the aftermath of a backstage altercation between Punk and Jack Perry at All In London. Another report on CM Punk's firing came out recently, this one from Sports Illustrated's Justin Barrasso. He reported that Punk's pre-All In incident with Tony Khan had more to do with his firing than the much-discussed altercation with Jack Perry. It was reported, Punk was not dismissed solely because of his backstage altercation with Jack Perry last week in London at All In, though that did not help his cause. His firing came after Khan felt physically threatened by Punk at All In during his attempt to get Punk refocused on the match. Unlike prior occasions, Khan was not able to effectively communicate or reason with Punk, and eyewitness accounts supporting Khan's claim further ended any chance that Punk would return to AEW. He also revealed that no one expects Punk to quietly ride off into the sunset, and people in AEW are expecting an explosive response from Punk. He said, "This is by no means the end of Phil Brooks as CM Punk. Sources close to both sides expect a response from Punk, which holds the potential to be explosive. It is disappointing that, after so much promise just 2 years ago, the relationship ends in such a disjointed manner." Next up, CM Punk wanted out when the Elite re-signed with AEW. Dave Meltzer, while speaking on Wrestling Observer Radio, spoke about the situation involving CM Punk's AEW firing by Tony Khan. Meltzer commented that some people believed that Punk wanted out of the company when he learned about the Elite re-signing with AEW. It turns out that Punk ended up being gone about 1 month after that. It was noted, "I can't say because I can't get into his brain. But yes, there were a lot of people that thought that when the contract was signed with the Young Bucks, Omega and Page, that he wanted out and that something was going to happen. He thought that because the ratings for Collision were so much lower. I think the one was the bad one was when Cole and MJF came the ratings skyrocketed. And when they weren't back they went back down. That was the one that established that Max and Adam Cole are the draws in the company. It's going to go down without him. He was the biggest draw on that show." Next up, what's next for AEW Collision now that CM Punk is gone? AEW Collision is set to undergo some major changes now that CM Punk is gone from the company. Collision was launched as AEW's second weekly live show in June and heavily featured Punk as the main attraction of the show. With now Punk gone from the company, Fightful Select have revealed some major changes to the programming. It was noted, Bryan Danielson is expected to be an integral name on AEW Collision, which could result in him effectively taking Punk's place as the show's top draw. The soft brand split between Collision and Dynamite, which was partially used as a way to keep Punk separated from wrestlers he had issues with behind the scenes, is being erased. Next up, Jack Perry's status revealed after CM Punk's AEW firing. Fightful Select has provided a major update on status of Jack Perry after Punk's firing. It was reported earlier that both the stars were suspended while the investigation was being held about the backstage incident at All In. After the reports on CM Punk's release, Fightful Select provided an update on Jack Perry's status with the company. It was reported, Jack Perry has not been fired or been informed of a firing, at least as of the Chicago native's exit. It remains to be seen if Tony Khan will take any action against Perry for his role in the whole fiasco in the coming weeks. As per Tony Khan, Jack Perry's suspension is indefinite till the further orders. Next up, update on Ace Steel's AEW status following CM Punk's firing. Ace Steel was involved in the backstage brawl between CM Punk and the Elite following the AEW All Out 2022. He was immediately released from the company after the incident. He returned earlier this year in remote work capacity when Punk made his AEW return on the premiere episode of Collision. Now AEW terminated CM Punk's contract with immediate effect on Saturday, and the status of Ace Steel with AEW is still unknown. Dave Meltzer, speaking on the Wrestling Observer Radio, gave an update on Ace Steel's AEW status following CM Punk's firing. He said, "Ace Steel is believed to still be working for the company, at least as of now. Steel was involved in creative for AEW, focusing largely on Punk's role on the show." Next up, CM Punk and William Regal had tense altercation in AEW. After the firing of CM Punk following his backstage altercation with Jack Perry at the All In event, a new report had came out that CM Punk also had an altercation with William Regal while both worked for AEW. According to Cassidy Haynes of Bodyslam.net, another incident involving CM Punk during his run with the company has been confirmed. Haynes noted the following, Multiple sources have confirmed to me details about an incident that took place between CM Punk and William Regal, which took place when Regal made his AEW debut. In the altercation between the two men, Punk refused to shake Regal's hand, and would then get in the legend's face, telling him that he did not like him, he did not trust him, and that Regal was a stooge for Triple H. Next up, update on AEW locker room morale after CM Punk's release. Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion Adam Cole, during the media conference after AEW All Out, was asked about the atmosphere in AEW locker room after CM Punk's release. Although Cole did not directly address the part about Punk's release, he did provide insight on the AEW locker room's morale. He said, "As far as the vibe, the excitement that we've had over the past few weeks for these events have not gone unnoticed by anyone. Again, all in happening. Wembley Stadium, breaking pro wrestling attendance numbers. This weekend with All Out, knowing we had to follow it up with a huge event, the locker room was stoked. The locker room was ready to go. They were ready to put on the best show we possibly could. We are also thinking about the future. We've made big strides, and this company hasn't been around for very long. So we're thinking about the next year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, as everyone's so pumped and ready to go. So, the locker room is feeling good, man." Next up, LA Knight makes heartbreaking statement about Bray Wyatt's last WWE match. WWE megastar LA Knight recently opened up about being the last superstar to face Bray Wyatt in WWE. Bray Wyatt made his return to the WWE last October and entered a feud with LA Knight on SmackDown. The two superstars squared off in Wyatt's only televised match in his second WWE run at Royal Rumble 2023, which saw the Eater of Worlds emerge victorious. LA Knight, speaking on 98.5 The Sports Hub, addressed being Wyatt's last opponent. The megastar disclosed that he cannot take pride in that fact because he wishes he was not. He said, "I mean, that was the last televised match. But then we did a series of those matches on live events for like the next, I want to say, 3 weeks to a month after that. But I mean, that's essentially where I cut my teeth on SmackDown was in that whole feud, you know. So it's kind of goes back to what I said on SmackDown last week, which is sometimes your biggest foes can be your biggest helpers. And in a lot of ways, that whole interaction, that whole story kind of helped to get me the visibility to get me where I am now." Next up, ex-WWE star Lana debuts at AEW All Out. AEW held its pay-per-view All Out in Chicago this Sunday, and fans were treated to quite a surprise after Miro's match with Powerhouse Hobbs. Lana, Miro's real-life wife, who has been going by the name CJ Perry since her WWE release, finally joined her husband in All Elite Wrestling. Miro beat Powerhouse Hobbs at All Out in a brutal match, but after the match Hobbs attacked Miro from behind and gave him a beatdown. Then CJ Perry showed up to help her husband out. Miro looked shocked, and he didn't know how to act to see his wife showing up in AEW. Miro walked away from his wife, leaving her on her own. Time will tell what the future holds for CJ Perry in All Elite Wrestling. Next up, former WWE World Heavyweight Champion has re-signed with AEW. Former WWE World Heavyweight Champion Christian Cage, during his AEW All Out post-show media scrum appearance, revealed that he has re-signed with AEW and signed a big fat contract with the Tony Khan's promotion. He said, "Weren't people, and it might have even been some of you people, that said I wasn't worth the hype. I think I proved you all wrong, haven't I? I know I proved Tony Khan right, because he just re-signed me to a big fat contract. He opened the vault for me and I deserve every single penny that I got." Next up, Christian Cage speaks on Edge's AEW debut rumors. Former Impact Wrestling World Champion Christian Cage, at the AEW All Out post-show media scrum, was asked about the rumors regarding his good friend and 11-time World Champion Edge potentially coming to AEW, since his WWE contract is set to expire at the end of September. To this, Christian replied, "I only talk about myself and Luchasaurus. I have no friends other than Luchasaurus. I'll leave it at that." And that is all for today's news. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel SquaredCircle Wrestling for all the latest updates.